Hey everybody, Shawn here from theautomationschool.com, and in today's podcast, we're going to take a look at Rockwell's presentation about what's new in FactoryTalk View. Now, this is a presentation from Rockwell Automation's TechED 2018. They make it totally free right online. It's right here. You can download it if you want. And so I'm just going to open this up in a new tab, and we'll just take a look at it together. Now, if you want to get a complete copy of this presentation in the last edition of the Automation Minute, I show you how to do that. And it's easier this year than ever. I also have a blog over at the Automation blog showing you step-by-step with pictures how to get to where I was to get this presentation. Again, I just loaded it in my browser, but you can download it and view it offline if you want to. So with that said, let's take a look. Let's see what's new in version 10. Now, we've already talked about this in blogs and in previous podcasts, but I thought it was worthwhile to take a look at this updated presentation. So in any case, you can see here, there's over 50,000 FactoryTalk View SE systems installed and running in the field. That seems a little low to me, but still it's a lot of running systems. 1 million panel view terminals sold. I wonder if that includes the original panel views. And then 80 plus countries, which is totally believable. With that said, that's some of their marketing stuff. Let's take a look here at the release summary. New features, trending enhancements, recipe management, etc. Runtime enhancements. Let's just go right into the details here. Okay, here they're reviewing the scalability. So with FactoryTalk View SE, you can now have up to 80 clients on a server. You can have up to 100 ViewPoint mobile clients. So if you want to look at the graphic displays from your View SE server on your mobile device, you can do that. Up to 100 of them. That would be a lot of mobile devices. Up to 750,000 tags. This is everything they test at the factory. It's amazing. They have a room with all the equipment in it. They actually test all of this. And up to 100,000 alarms. And you can have up to 10 HMI alarm and data. And it says and. So up to 10 HMI, alarm, and data service per application. And that doesn't matter if it's redundant or not. The number used to be different or half as much if it was redundant. So, yeah, so that's cool. They keep expanding the capabilities. Of course, you're not going to do that on a 486. You're going to need a computer that can handle that. And of course, they purchased the Thin Manager not too long ago. Those great folks down in Georgia. And I actually went down for the training a few years ago. Great people. And they are now owned by Rockwell. And here you can see Trend Pro. So the nice feature about this is now you can add the alarm and events as a trace. So that's pretty huge. Now, if you haven't used this new feature of FactoryTalk View SE, I suggest you do, because this trend is the one that comes out of Vantage Point, and it's really powerful. I like Trend X. I've been using it since it came out, but this Trend Pro is very, very powerful and worth taking a look at. What else do we have here? Trend templates. Now, that's something we had in the built-in trend for a long time. Good to have that in Trend Pro now. This is kind of got me excited when this came out. Recipe Pro Plus. I don't know why they didn't just call it Recipe Pro, because that's what we had in RS-V32, and but they're calling it Recipe Pro Plus. In any case, it's a mouthful. They originally were going to call the Panel View Plus the Panel View Pro, and they had a Panel View Pro Plus there too. So I guess marketing just keeps recycling some of these ideas. But anyways, this is great because for years we didn't have recipe management built into FactoryTalk View that we had built into RS-V32. And the Panel View Plus got it first, which is cool, but they didn't add it to View SE at the same time. So this really fills a hole, in my opinion, that the products had from early on when it first released. But it looks like, looking at all this, like the list control and, some of these other options, they've really enhanced it. So multi-state indicators to define a status based on the status code. Easy way for operators to see if the most current download was successful. So that's great. And so that's it for recipes. Redundancies. Now, this is huge to me. You can now copy the primary to the secondary at initial creation. That's something that other packages do that they couldn't do. And that's pretty awesome. And you can replicate the active to standby which is a must, right, in redundancy applications. This was a problem previously if the active server was the secondary server. They also say if you made any runtime changes to the secondary, they are not lost, and that is big because you can't lose them, right? You can replicate automatically without a reboot. Project edits are saved to both servers. That's huge. You can also do failover programmatically via a command or in FactoryTalk View Studio, which is important. Sometimes you want to force a failover. Better display of runtime status at runtime. Okay, and then improved uptime for FactoryTalk alarm and events and alarm enunciation behavior. So all good stuff. It sounds like it's really coming of age here. Here again, we kind of talked about the new multi-monitor support and how important multiple monitors are these days for developers. Whether I'm teaching a course or I'm developing a course or I'm filming a video like this, I always have multiple monitors. It's the only way to be truly productive today. And especially since almost every video card on the market supports multiple monitors. And, we just have so much more information that we're trying to grapple with these days. So in any case, you can see here, they're now supporting it natively inside of FactoryTalk View Client. And that's just awesome. Really awesome. Glad they've done that. The embedded web browser control to allow you to embed, modern HTML5 HMI, which is cool. I don't know what the use case is for this. Looks like they're bringing in stuff from ViewPoint. All right, that makes sense. So you don't want to have to get out of your FactoryTalk View SE client to get to a web browser to see your VantagePoint reports. So that's pretty cool. So we have dynamic local message file. I have not played with that yet myself. Improved keypad layout. So yeah, much improved. That's great. So more operator friendly. Tag name no longer displayed by default. The custom caption is displayed instead. Great. You can see here the range. I like to play with that some more because playing with the sizing and all that's always very important. Let's see what else they have here. Oh, they're docking, and I think we talked about this earlier, but they're now docking the Object Explorer and Property panel on the right-hand side. Now, initially, I thought this was going to be a problem. And the course I'm teaching right now, I'm doing completely in View 9. This is a View 10 feature. But I opened up View 10 and played with it a little bit. And I actually like this. I like it a lot. So I think I'm going to quickly appreciate that. I don't know. What do you guys think? Have you been using this? And what do you think? Originally, I thought, hey, that's too much real estate. But quite honestly, the right-hand side of the screen typically is not used. It's typically blank when I'm using it. So it fits in good right there. So here they improved the client configuration workflow. That needed to be done for a long time. Some of it, like you have to hit new twice to get a new window. It kind of didn't make sense. So good to see that. So the SQL Server for HMI tag database, a couple of big things here. First of all, it hides Microsoft SQL from you. And it no longer has to be installed when you're installing the product. So that's good because nobody wants to know about that stuff. That's internal guts. We don't need to be aware of that, know about that, see anything about that. And so it's good that they were able to do that. Now, another thing they've done is they've actually allowed you now to open and convert legacy 32-bit applications like v6.0 and back on Windows 10 64-bit. So they finally figured it out. So version 10, you no longer have to get a 32-bit machine or go through the export-import craziness that we've had to do since 6.1 all the way through 9. That's all done automatically for us. So that's pretty cool as well. And then the Logix tag-based alarming, that's that new Logix feature. So that's awesome that this is supported in FactoryTalk View as well, version 10. In addition with some additional commands. Okay, so that will work with those. Disable, enable, reset, shelve, unshelve, etc. Okay, the remark command. Well, that's great. We had that in the HMI tag alarms since all the way back to 95. Now we have that in alarm and events. It's I would use it on a regular basis because it was a good way to put additional information into the log. So you can see here, he's putting in a remark, and it's going right into the A&E database. So that's excellent. Okay. And, a tool to migrate your legacy HMI alarms to alarm events. So that's big because, quite honestly, you probably want to use FactoryTalk alarm and events, and it used to be painful again with the whole SQL thing and creating it all. So it'll be great. I can't wait to get a copy of official copy of View 10 to use here, so we can try some of these things out and do videos on them and whatnot. But it looks like 10 will be the last version to support HMI legacy alarms. HMI tag-based alarming. So it's kind of convoluted. I mean, it's based on 32 and it's really old. So with that, they go into ViewPoint. Of course, ViewPoint is the software that allows the viewing of your FactoryTalk View screens on a mobile device. It converted to HTML5 a year or two ago. Initially, it was very slow, but I've been hearing the updates have been making it faster and faster. So again, they talk about this, some information about showing notifications, allow a block, and other things here, and as well as recipe support on mobile. So if you're interested in this and you want to know all the gory details, go into that. And when I get a copy, of course, we'll try to do some videos on it here. And then you can see OS support. They're still supporting 7. I don't see that happening for very long, but I'm glad that they do. I still run 7 here on some of my PCs. So with that, I think we're going to leave the podcast there. You know how to get these labs. You know how to get these presentations. If you didn't see the last episode of the Automation Minute, go to automationminute.com and you'll see how I walk you through. It's easier this year than it's ever been. And of course, I wrote an article about it over at theautomationblog.com. But that was just a quick walkthrough, skim through of Rockwell's presentation. If you want to learn more, get a copy of it for yourself right from ab.com. And with that, that's the end of the podcast. Until next time, my friends, peace.